It's that time of the month again, and no, it's not your period, but it is me talking about my life and giving you an update in a coffee chat format. Hello my friends, my name is Katie Chandler and welcome back to my channel. And again, for the second month in a row, don't have coffee because I'm filming this quite late in the day. It's almost 6 p.m. But what I do have is a Coca-Cola, which I would call these Coke chats, but I really think that YouTube would like just strike my channel down in a fit of anger and lightning. So we're gonna go with coffee, even though I'm technically drinking Coke. But you can drink coffee if you'd like to. Today I'm going to talk about all the things that happened to me in March. All the author, reading, life stuff, everything that happened, and I'll give you the updates. And the first updates are very important because they are pertinent to you as hopefully a viewer and liker of my channel, and hopefully if you're interested in my debut novel, Backhanded Compliments, which comes out June 10th, 2025. This is sapphic rivals to lovers adult romance with the soulmate trope where every single person has a name on their wrist and it correlates to someone who is their soulmate. Turns out that these two rivals, they're soulmates. The exciting things that are happening with this book is that if you are at all interested in pre-ordering this book, I have something incredibly exciting for you. I think I teased this in several places, maybe even in my own videos. I've teased this. February, I get the very, very exciting news that a local bookstore in Pittsburgh, White Whale Books, is going to be hosting my launch event. My launch event. Like, I get to have my book launched at a real indie bookstore. And the most exciting part for you is that you can come to it at 7 p.m. on June 10th, 2025, which is a Tuesday. It's when the book comes out, the day the book comes out, right? It's a launch party. But even more exciting than that, if you pre-order this book off the White Whale Bookstore, you can get it signed. Every single copy ordered from White Whale Bookstore is going to come signed. Also, extra special for you guys is that you can get it personalized, and I will write whatever you want in my terrible handwriting. I'll try to make it pretty for you, I promise. And to entice you into maybe wanting to do that, and also maybe give you some brainstorming, some ideas of what you could have me write in here, I had some of my friends write down what they would want me to put in the book for them when they pre-ordered it. Here are some of the ideas that you could have me write that I think are fun. The least unhinged of which is this: champions keep reading until they get it right. Also, the tagline of this book, be gay, play tennis. That's this book in a nutshell. So glad we didn't meet on Twitter. Or pass the limoncello. And of course, the most unhinged thing that I could write in here, and maybe implementing me in the eyes of the law, is thanks again for helping me hide the body. I owe you one. So you could have any of that or more or something else, or if you don't want to even personalize, you don't have to. But I hope that if you do pre-order you from White Whale Bookstore, because that really helps me out, also helps out a local indie. I'm so happy that this is a thing that they're doing for me. Like, I'm a debut author. They did not have to do this, and yet they do. They are doing this for me, which I think is just so amazingly cool and awesome, and I cannot thank them enough. And even more fun is if you are coming to my event, which is in Pittsburgh at 7 p.m. on June 10th, it's going to be moderated by Amanda Quain, who is the author of Ghosted, Accomplished, and Dash, which is super, super exciting. I can't wait to meet her. And I would love to see as many of you there as you can. But again, if you cannot and you live in the US, you can order it from White Whale Bookstore along with any of your other books. I have a book haul coming up, so if any of those books sound interesting to you, maybe add them to your order on White Whale Books. And for all of you international people who are still looking out for giveaways, keep looking out for them. I've just got really busy, which you will hear about in a minute, but I am planning on doing all of my giveaways this month, so keep an eye out for the giveaways, especially the ones here on YouTube. So that is super exciting, literally one of the most exciting things to happen to me. And then the second most exciting thing, one of the most, maybe even the most exciting, well, I think it's the second most, is that Publishers Weekly, this Publishers Weekly gave my book a review. I don't even know how to react properly to this information. I got that email and I sat and stared at a wall for a while because I didn't know how to process all of that. Felt similarly athletic. It's just Publishers fucking Weekly. And they said about this book right here, the book that I wrote with my own 2 hands, all 5 fingies, wrote words in this book. It was really funny. It was really weird to me to say. They said that Chandler debuts with a magnetic queer enemies to lovers romance with a fantastical twist. What follows is a well-plotted, steamy sparkler of a romance that will reward readers who can suspend their disbelief about the premise. Tennis buffs will especially enjoy the in-depth look at the professional circuit. Chandler is off to a great start. That's me. That's my book. A steamy sparkler of a romance. I'm in amazed. I'm in awe. I'm in shock and awe, basically still. Even like a week later after finding out. I just can't believe that that's a thing that happened, that I got that on my debut novel. I'll have it linked down below if you'd like to go look at it. I also have it up on my Instagram. Absolutely can't believe. But what I can believe is that I did use some of my advance money to commission art for Backhanded Compliments, which I'm super excited about. I have 2 art pieces specifically commissioned now, and I actually have a commission form in my inbox. I'm just now remembering that I'm going to be commissioning even more art, and I got it commercialized, so you are going to get to see it in print form. Here's a little teaser for the one that'll be coming sooner. I just got the line and sketch work for it a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of it. It's super exciting. I have literally dreamed of making character art or like having character art commissioned for my book. I have, that one is like my personal one because I always knew I wanted to commission this artist, and I was waiting until they opened, and they finally opened and I commissioned them, which was super cool. And then I have another one, which is kind of like a secret side project. There's like something other involved with this. It's not a book related side project, but this other commissioned art is like much bigger. It has a lot more things that I commissioned. I am so excited to finally have it and also get to implement my vision with it. So there's going to be a lot of character art coming up in the next few months as I especially try to promo this book and try to market this book and get you to read it. But we're going to take a break from talking about backhanded compliments, even though it is the most exciting thing in my life right now. And we're going to actually talk about writing, which obviously falls under the author life. Can't be an author without writing. And I'm currently working on book 2 of, it's a standalone sequel to Backhanded Compliments. Comes out in 2026. One day I'll get to read it when I finish the first draft, and get it to my editor, write it again and work on it. Lots to work on with the second book, and I was talking about it last month, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was struggling with it. I was struggling with it for the most, and that struggle really came to a head in March. One of the things that I did in March was I went to Indian Wells. It was a research trip, and I did do quite a bit of research in the form of watching a lot of tennis, which these are tennis books, so that is research for me. We're going to talk way more about Indian Wells a little bit later, but basically I was really struggling with this book. I was hoping that Indian Wells would help kickstart me into really feeling good about it. I think I got to 69,000 words in draft 1 of book 2. Book 2 follows one of the sisters of one of the main characters in Backhanded Compliments. Juliet, one of her sisters, is book 2. And it's very complicated for a number of reasons. One, I realized, is that this book has just been living in my head for far too long. I had a very concrete idea of what I wanted to do, and when it wasn't being executed to my greatest ability, it was really difficult to want to write it. And then the other problem is that it is a throuple, and so it is inherently more complicated and difficult because there are so many other characters to manage. And there's one extra arc to satisfactorily, is that a word? Satisfactory? Satisfactory, not satisfactory. Satisfactory. I have to basically make 3 great arcs from beginning to end, and that's harder than doing 2, and especially when I'm trying not to make the book a million fucking words long. It just was very tough, and I had a dark moment where I was like, I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. This is really, it was really scary actually to have that thought. Scary in like a, you know, this writing has been my life for so long. It still is a lot of my life. And yeah, it was, for the first time in my life, it was not a safe place that I could go to. I've been dealing with mental health problems for my entire life. I've talked about that pretty openly on this channel. I have a chronic illness, I have migraines, which also affects me really badly. It's been better in the last several months, several years, but it still does affect my mental health, and then my mental health not being great with the book not working just really was getting me to a really low point of a spiral. And so I am so grateful that I have the friends that I have. I reached out to 2 of my friends. I'm so sorry to Stig. He was asleep. He lives in Norway, 6 hours ahead of me, and I was having a spiral at like 9 p.m. I reached out with what was an SOS, and my friends were there for me really a lot in helping me figure out what was wrong and what I should do to fix it, because I was miserable writing the first draft. So we worked through, and I decided, you know what? I'm just going to say that the first draft is done, and I'm going to be like, we're done. It's over. The first draft did what it needed to do. I got through 70,000 words of it. Like, let's just start over with draft 2. One of the things I was trying to do before this happened was write an outline, like a very bare bones outline. And that's kind of what made me spiral, is I was like, this outline fucking sucks. This is really, like, the book's bad. The book sucks. The book is boring and stupid and has no flavor. And then, and then my friends were like, hey, let's just like re-outline it. So maybe you have some more, you know, let's try to just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. And ultimately, my friends and I spent about 4 hours on the phone, and we re-outlined the whole thing. For the first time, I felt really excited actually by the book. We added some new things. I'm gonna give you just this meme as a teaser for what happened that like kind of sparked everything.
Boom. A child. No.
So yeah, take with that what you will. So which means that I got to talk about how I'm going to be writing all these words this month, because there's a lot of words that I need to get through in this month, because I really want to get this book done at about the middle of May. And what is really exciting is that me and my friend Stig, aforementioned Stig, who lives in Norway, have decided that we're going to be running an event, because the people on our Discord, the Troublemaker Discord, the people who watch us every single week, we stream every single week on the Troublemakers YouTube account. I'll leave a link down below. And we run sprints and chat shit and have crazy memes and stuff, and it's really fun. And basically we were missing the cabin-esque part of a certain writing thing that is actually closed down. We're not going to talk about that right now because I haven't actually looked into it because I've had a very busy couple of days and this is the first time I'm sitting down to actually work on something. But that was crazy. You guys probably have way more context than I do, but I just saw that they're closing it anyway. So we decided we're actually going to be doing a writing event over the weekend. It's going to be the 5th and the 6th. Here are all the dates and times in any different time zone. I'm so sorry if I didn't include your time zone. This was the ones that I thought of that I put down when I was in a fever dream at like 2 a.m. doing things that were not writing. But we're going to be running 8 hours of sprints on both of those days for both of those weekends. So I think it's what's 16 times 2? Hey Alexa, what's 16 times 2?
16 times 2 is 32.
32. We're gonna have 32 hours of sprinting for you in the month of April, on top of our troublemaker ones that we do every single Wednesday, and also the occasions when we occasionally go rogue. Which, if you don't know what that means, it basically means that me and my friends decide that we're gonna go live on the Troublemaker channel about 10 minutes before we do. And so then we ping the Discord and people come and hang out and we do writing sprints and work because sometimes it's hard to work without friends. So that is what is going on with writing. Stay tuned to see how that actually works out, and also follow me on Instagram if you're not already for any of the updates on my writing, and also on Threads. I feel like I talk more about on Threads. We're not going to talk about, I had some new book ideas. We're not going to talk about them here. I had one book idea that I basically brain dumped about 2,000 words of in one sitting. That we're not going to talk about, and then I also have ideas for next gen. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and then I literally just talked about it, or second gen of, but I have to write the parents' books first, as I said on Threads. So anyway, that is the writing stuff. So let's get into the reading. I read one book this month. I had so many ambitions for reading this month, and I read one book, which was an arc, which does help with my goal of reading more arcs this year. And I read Game Point by Meg Jones, which is another tennis romance. It is a friends to lovers, coach player, slow burn romance. I really enjoyed it. I read it on my plane to Indian Wells, so it really helped prime and prep me for Indian Wells. So that was super fun. It isn't out till August because it is an arc, but her first book, which is Clean Point, which I have not read, is out now. And if you're in the mood for a tennis romance, maybe you can check that one out. I haven't read it, so I can't recommend it. But if you're waiting anxiously for Backhanded Compliments, Clean Point is out there, and that I really liked the second book, Game Point. Should I read the first one first? Maybe, but the first one isn't an arc anymore. That's all I read. However, I did go to Barnes & Noble and I did buy a bunch of books because I am a book fiend. I love books, and I'm gonna explain myself when I grab them because you're gonna be like, Katie, that's quite the haul. And I'm gonna be like, I know, but I have my reasoning. I promise I have my reasoning for buying all of these books. So many books. We're gonna go over them. I'm gonna try to give you something from them, but I do not like to read the back covers of things very often. I mostly just buy things and then just have them on my shelves because I like books. I think they're pretty. Let's go over the books that I bought. The first book that's on the top here is Pole Position by Rachel Caffrey. This is an Achillean F1 romance. I'm actually really excited about this. I follow her on Instagram, and I've been in my F1 era for about 2 years, but like I'm really in my F1 era right now. I love F1. Will I ever write an F1 romance? Maybe. Who knows? But I really like F1, and I also like queer romances. So I was wanting to pick this one up, and I saw a different F1 romance that I didn't end up picking up because I was like, oh, I want to read this one first. For some reason, they're not by the same author, but I was like, if I'm gonna pick up an F1 romance, this is the one that I've been craving. I don't know where I'm gonna put these. Next is, I feel like, a book that I said that I wasn't gonna read, but then there's so much discourse online that I was so curious about, and then one of my favorite reviewers, Reads with Rachel, came out with the review on this book, and she actually liked this book, and I think our tastes really align, so I did pick up this very pretty edition of Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. None of Allie Hazelwood's other books have ever enticed me or made me want to read them. Like, I just have not felt particularly interested in them, except for Bride, which I also bought. I just realized I also bought a bunch of books while I was in California, and I should probably grab those because I bought those from the local indie. We'll see how much time I have left on my camera. I was interested in Deep End because it's a kinky book and beautiful, and I was like, okay, let's try this. It's also a sports romance, and I love a sports romance. That's why I kind of was interested in it. Then I heard it was kinky, and your girl may have had a kind of semi-erotic book idea recently, so call it research. Also, I'm interested. And then I bought this book because I almost bought it when I was on my way to Indian Wells, and then I didn't because it was in an airport bookstore and I didn't feel like carrying it with me. But Funny Story by Emily Henry finally came out in paperback. I only buy her books in paperback. I have every single one in paperback, so I did buy this. Again, I have no idea what this is about. I love Emily Henry, so I don't think this one will be my favorite because it's said to be very different than Happy Place, which is my favorite, but it has lemons on the side. Okay, focus on that. Anyway, Emily Henry, M-Hen. I haven't read People We Meet on Vacation either, but I think I'm gonna read this one first. And then I picked up a YA, which is not something I usually do, but I love this author, like her whole vibe. I love her whole vibe. I think her, maybe they. I actually don't know their pronouns, so I'll just use they for now. But it's I Fed Her to the Beast, and the Beast is Me. I love this title. It's about ballet. I'm super curious about reading a ballet book because I would like to write a ballet book one day. You can see a theme here. Anyway, it's a thriller, paranormal, dark book, YA book. So I'm really excited about this. I've seen some snippets of the audiobook actually, and I thought maybe I should read the audiobook, but I also wanted to buy this copy because look at how stunning she is. She's beautiful. And then most of what I bought is romances. That was one of the few that is not a romance. And then I bought a Kennedy Ryan book. This is my first Kennedy Ryan, and I've heard so much about her. This is a second chance romance between a married couple who is now co-parenting, and they come back to each other, which I find just so fascinating. As someone who wants to write a second chance romance, also this cover is stunning, and I was like, I want to try Kennedy Ryan. People rave about her and say she has really deep emotional characters, and that is something I love in a book. It's one of my favorite things in books, actually. And then I bought some of these because they're Atria siblings. If you didn't know, my book is coming out with Atria. I've actually spoken to the author of this book, and she is so nice. So I was like, I saw her book and I was like, I'm gonna buy this. And it is Only in Your Dreams by Ellie K. Wilde, which is a sports romance. Sports adjacent. Well, I think it is a sports romance, but he's a football coach at a high school. He is a college football coach, and I don't know what she does. Is she a teacher? I don't know. Anyway, super excited about this one. She's super nice, and I'm really excited. And again, we're Atria siblings. If it won't focus, whatever, just believe me, we're Atria siblings. I think we're editor siblings as well. So we're editor and Atria siblings, which is really cool, and she's a really cool person. So I did buy this book. And then I bought a new release, came out today as I'm filming, who is also an Atria sibling. And that is Only Trope But You by Victoria Levine. This one's super exciting. It's about a romance novelist who has kind of lost her spark, and so she goes to the Alaskan wilderness, literally runs into a man, and has like a whole meet cute trope, and like everything starts happening to her, and I think it's just gonna be really fun. I'm really excited about it. Looks like it's dual POV. It's fun. Anyway, I'm very excited about Any Trope But You, and so that's why I picked up this one. And then another Atria sibling. Oh my gosh, it's almost like that's what I expressly went in to do, and that is Unsteady by Peyton Crane. I was tempted to buy the other one by her second book, but I wanted to read her first book first. I'm super interested to read this one. I love Peyton Crane's Instagram. Also an Atria sibling. I think she's also an editor sibling. Anyway, this is a hockey romance taking place in college, and apparently Peyton Crane writes really angsty books, which is right up my alley because I also love an angsty book. And then I got a debut book, which I'm super excited about. I also wanted to support some debuts. I also forgot to mention that Victoria Levine's book is a debut, and Only in Your Dreams is also a debut. I think that's it. Actually, Pole Position, I believe, is also a debut. So I wanted to support some debuts, but Any Trope But You just came out, and Only in Your Dreams came out recently. So this is also a debut, but this is a fantasy romance, and it is Blood Beneath the Snow by Alexandra Kennington, and she is really cool. Her Instagram and stuff, I'm really interested in this book. It has magic and cool trial trope. It's got a really cool cover. It doesn't have a dust jacket though, which does kind of like throw me off slightly, but I couldn't find one with a dust jacket. Like, I think that's just how it is. Anyway, and then the final book is the one that I was also like probably most excited about because it's beautiful when I saw it, and it is Fable at the End of the World by Ava Reid, and it is a YA dystopian sapphic romance with like the coolest character art you could ever see on her Instagram. I highly recommend going and looking at it if you hadn't. And also like the first page got me. Like, it just sounds so good. Anyway, and this edition is beautiful as well. Those are all the books that I bought from Barnes & Noble the other day. I'm so excited to read a lot of them. I have so many books. I just always buy books. I buy so many books because I love having books. And I also love supporting other authors because I write books, and by using my money to buy books, hopefully that money will go and those authors can continue to buy books, just as I hope anyone who orders and reads my book will also enjoy it, and also, you know, they buy my book so I can write more books. So it's a symbiotic relationship, but you know that. So I'm just gonna move all of these books off to the side now, but that was a lovely detour that we just had, I think. I don't know if the angle has moved, but we ran out of battery. So we're just gonna quickly go through my life stuff and then we'll be done. So the big thing that happened this March, besides the writing and everything else, is that I went to Indian Wells, which is a tennis tournament near Palm Springs in California. It was so much fun. Here are some videos for you to enjoy. I was going to do a whole vlog on this camera, but thing is that my sunglasses are like polarized in some way, shape, or form. So I could not record, I couldn't see the screen when I was filming. And so all of my footage from here is like not very good, but I tried to do a little bit and it just did not work out well, but that's okay. I took a lot of stuff on my phone instead. And so that is what you saw up on Instagram. I posted some things. I'm thinking about posting some reels, but it feels a little farther away from there. I just haven't had the time to edit them. Who knows? As an update from the last video, because I know I talked about it, I did get my new glasses, which look like this. I haven't had them on. They give a glare because I'm sitting in front of monitors, but they are here. I also have my sunglasses that are downstairs in my car, and they're like periwinkle and very angular and fun. So I've been enjoying wearing those. And then finally, because of the stuff that was happening with me and me like not having a great time with writing, I decided that I'm gonna monetize a different hobby of mine. Or try to monetize a different hobby of mine, or like just record content and post. So if you're at all interested in nails, I'm gonna be starting a nail channel. I started a TikTok, or from like YouTube videos, but I did make a TikTok. I love doing my nails. I love anything with my hands. Why will this camera just not focus today? Oh, there we go. Right now I'm wearing the Deep End collection by Hollow Taco. Anyway, I'm gonna be starting to do press-ons, and I wanted to bring you guys along with the journey if you're interested. My name is Katya Nailed It, or Katya Nail Edit, as a friend, Grayson's Bookmark, who's also here on YouTube, has suggested it in the comments. So it's a very spur-of-the-moment thing. There's nothing posted on my channel yet, but I am hopefully saying this, so maybe I will post something. It's just that we haven't had nail day yet with all of the new stuff that I bought, which is the press-ons and the stand and the drill and the file and stuff. So if you're at all interested in nails, I like these. I like the hollow taco. And if you're curious to watch, or if you just like watching that content, because I know I do. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to communicate more with me in the future, you can follow me on Instagram at author.katie.chandler. I also put out a newsletter, which I will be having a newsletter go out soon with all this information. So if you want to read all of it, again, you can. That link will be in the description. Thank you all so much for being here and being patient and still watching these videos, even though I'm not putting out as many as I used to. I'm going to try to have a writing blog out at some point, but I keep saying that and then it doesn't happen, and another month goes by and we film another one of these videos, and that's just the way that it goes. That's just the way that the cookie crumbles right now. So again, remember to pre-order Backhanded Compliments. If you want it signed and personalized, you can do that from White Whale Bookstore. It is a local indie to me. I'm gonna be having a launch event on June 10th at 7 p.m. So I hope that I will see you guys there. Let me know how your month went, and if you got to this point in the video, please leave me the nail emoji in the description, because you made it this far and you know that I'm starting a new channel. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.